Torah tells us that after the story of the Baal Peor and the Bnos Moav, men, they cohabited with the non-Jewish women, and it was all precipitated by Zimri ben Solu when he openly cohabited with the Midianite princess. There was a plague of 24,000 who perished. And due to Pinchas's zealotry, his kanos, the plague ceased. And Hashem says to Moshe, go tell the Jews, it's due to Pinchas's zealotry that he was Heshiv es chamosi, he withdrew my wrath. Meaning, although Midas Adin was in force, because of the quality of his zealotry, he was able to quell the Midas Adin, the attribute of justice. What was the quality of his zealotry? How zealous was he? No kamestik mosi. So Rashi says, the vengeance that I was meant to show, he internalized that himself. The kots of his kitzbi, my wrath that I should have displayed, he internalized that wrath. That because he had that level of pain and he acted in a certain way, this is why he was able to quell Midas Adin, although Midas Adin was in effect at the time. Medrash tells us that when Pinchas went in to the location with Cosby and Zimri were cohabiting, he went in to be killed. He didn't believe he would come out of this alive. And through multiple miracles, he was able to survive this. But initially, he went to kill and be killed, never to survive to come out. What is this? This is a demonstration of Pinchas, besides the act of zealotry, that his life has no value if this is the reality of existence, that Hashem's name is desecrated at this level. That was the pain that he experienced. He could not tolerate it, any Hashem's pain. We once mentioned our Chaim HaKodesh that when we were at the Yam Suf and we were caught between the Egyptian army and the Yam Suf, the Jews began complaining, Hamibli and Kfor b'Mitzrayim, oh, there were lack of graves in Egypt, he took us to die here in the desert. So immediately Moshe Rabbeinu started to pray for them. So the Sefarno says there wasn't a question the split would split. He was concerned that because the Jews, they showed a lack of emunah, they weren't worthy that it should split. So he was praying so that shouldn't interfere with what was meant to be, because maybe they were no longer worthy. So he was praying. So Rashi cites the Medrash. Hashem says to Moshe, Bonai B'tzar, my children are in a state of pain and you're praying? Just tell them to travel. So the Chaim HaKodesh asks a question, when else does a Jew pray? When you have a state of pain, when you have a problem, that's when you pray. There was no greater problem than this moment. So Chaim HaKodesh explains that the whole concept of tefillah is based on midas harachmi, on the attribute of mercy. Because the Jews said, Hamibli and Kfor b'Mitzrayim, are there a lack of graves after all they had seen? They weren't worthy of Rachman any longer. They weren't worthy. The only way they would be able to quell the Midas Adin, they have to show and display their faith in God. They have to travel straight into the sea. But how do you travel to the sea? You'll drown. The answer is because you have faith that if Hashem says it's going to split, it will split. So they had to openly, overtly demonstrate that. When they demonstrated that quelled the Midas Adin, the sea split, Midas Harachmi was reinstated, the attribute of mercy. Identically here, Heshiv es chamosi, my wrath was already in effect. The plague was ensuing. V'lo chilisis b'nei Yisrael, I would have consumed all Jews. They all would have been destroyed with Midas Adin. But because Pinchas, he displayed a level of faith and pain and internalization that he was able to sense Hashem's pain and even to give his life, therefore that was sufficient to quell the Midas Adin and reinstate the Midas Harachmi.
Jetzt genau